Hello everyone, my name's Mazharul Haq. I would like to welcome you for this video lecture presentation, and I hope you are all well by the benevolence of Allah. So let's get started today's session. Okay, I would like to share the screen with you. So please stay with me for a while and then you can see what I'm going to start with you for. Okay, let me welcome you once again and hope you will be with me until I finish this presentation. Uh, Actually, it's a long time that the pandemic is still gripping the whole country and worldwide. But in spite of all these things, we have to continue our studies and we are not away all from this. And I hope and believe that you are also enjoying other lectures delivered by different teachers. Anyway, I have come here with a view to giving you something for the honors third year students of our national universities. And I'm really warmly welcome you for this session. So let's get started. Okay, my name's Mazharul Haq. I have been teaching English at Victoria Government College. And this time I have come here with the presentation for honors third year, Department of English. Let's see what I can do for you. Okay, it's all about semantics, introduction to linguistics, and it is a very important part of linguistics, semantics. Basically, we all know that semantics is the study of meaning, and it has numerous features to talk about. I would like to discuss the features very briefly because I have the constraint of time. Anyway, I hope from this lecture you will get plenty of valuable ideas to get yourself prepared for this topic, semantics. So dear students, let's get going. Okay, semantics and its features. Okay, dear students, this is the slide of some relevant images of semantics. What can you understand by looking at these slides or looking at these images? First one, fire department. The department who starts the fire. Actually, it should be written fire extinguishing department, but we all call it fire department, either home or abroad. Why? This is because we use semantics at every now and then with our own regular day-to-day speech. Similar is the case with wrinkle cream. It causes wrinkle or wrinkle-free cream. Actually, wrinkle cream is to remove the wrinkles, but we call it wrinkle cream. So it seems to us, or it seems to the layman, that these words are wrongly used, but actually it's not. These are the exact words, either for trade and commerce and all kinds of day-to-day perspectives. And the last one, pain pills. Pain causing pills or relief pains. You have to know this. But actually, you have to know that it is the pain relief pills, but we call it pain pills. It's because the same answer, semantics. Semantics is such that it will give you the exact meaning of a word. That is why it is called the study of the meaning of a word in the relevance and in the perspective. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Why semantics, or why? Why should we call it semantics? Why should we say fire department? Why should not we say fire extinguishing department? Why should we say wrinkle cream? Why should we not say wrinkle removing cream or wrinkle abolishing cream? The answer is here. Let's have a look. The words fire department makes it sound like they're ones who are starting fires, doesn't it? It should be called extinguishing department. We don't call the police crime department, as also bomb squad. Sounds like a terrorist gang, but this is the rule of the linguistics. You cannot call crime actually reduction department, or you cannot say fire extinguishing department. You have to say fire department, crime department. Similar is the case with bomb squads. The idea that comes to our mind that bomb squad means the squad which encourages bombing. No. Bomb squad means the department which actually relieves people from bombing, but we call it bomb squad because it's all because the result is with the semantics. So doesn't it like it causes wrinkles? And why would a doctor prescribe pain pills instead of pain relieving pills? I already have pain. I need relief pills, but we don't call that. We call it pain pill or painkiller. So these are all the magical word functions of semantics. Let's go to the next slide. Yes, semantics is the area of linguistics that analyzes the meaning of words, phrases, and sentences in language. The study of semantics includes the study of how meaning is constructed, interpreted, clarified, obscured, illustrated, simplified, negotiated, contradicted, and paraphrased. So all the functions of words are written in semantics. Okay, let us go forward. There are some warm-up activities. As you can see, these words, read them and think other words that come to your mind in relation to the term provided. For example, dog, sofa, pill, coin, wheel, shoes, bed, baby, sugar, sand, kids, turkey, water, bathroom, pencil, teacher, yoga, hammer. All these words are day-to-day regular words. But when you pronounce these words or remember these words, that word, there are some connotative meanings come to your mind or some denotative meanings come to your mind. For example, when you say, think about a dog, barking comes to your mind, or some sort of faithfulness comes to your mind. Similarly, when you say sofa, some sort of seating arrangements come to your mind. The decoration of drawing room comes to your mind. So these are the connotative ideas which are all concerned and discussed in semantics. Okay, so the other words I'm not going to discuss. You can talk it about yourself, think it about yourself, and you can associate the other meanings. These are actually called associative meanings. For example, pill. What are the associative meanings for this? Tablet. Then you can call it medicine, drugs, pill. So these are associative meanings. These all work to remove our pains and other problems. So these are the magical world of semantics. Okay, moving away from here, go to the next slide. Meaning. All the words mentioned before that I have already mentioned, concepts we linked to have a meaning. Meaning is conceptual and associative. Both these forms of meaning are used in subliminal and marketing purpose. Actually, linguistics is not only for our, pronouncing the words, rather we have to express our emotions, feelings, and ideas with our partners. That is the, total function of semantics. Okay, so there are two meanings, associative meanings and conceptual meanings of semantics. Okay, what is conceptual meaning? Conceptual meaning refers to the linguistic function of the word that provides its meaning. For example, money. Money is an object or series of other ideas that allows people to buy goods. That is called conceptual meaning. When you say money, you have to think about buying, purchasing, a lot of other activities. And associative meanings is different. Deals with the concepts that we add to the original word. For example, when you say money, you have to associate with the words like rich, job, work, tired, coin, poor, aristocratic, something like that. So conceptual meaning gives you the meaning of that particular word, but associative meanings gives you a little bit synonymous words, but not synonyms exactly. They will give you those words which are completely and fully associated with that word. So both of them have meanings, but a slight difference. I mean, conceptual meaning has one way and associative meaning has other way. Both of them are really very important for you. Okay, dear students, let us go to the next slide. Okay, analyze. Let us analyze some sentences. What's the problem with this sentence? You can see some sentences I've given. You have to identify what are the problems with these sentences. how can you explain what the problem is with each one? For example, the first one, the hamburger ate the boy. The table listens to the radio. The horse is reading the newspaper. The owl talked. These pigs are flying. A hamburger asked for some cheese. You can always and easily recognize there are some meaningful, mistakes given in this sentence. For example, hamburger ate the boy. Of course, it should be totally inverse. The boy ate the hamburger. You can see the first sentence is grammatically correct, but it cannot be called correct because of the wrongly put or wrongly syntactual, organized words. Otherwise, there is no problem with the verse. Grammatically, it's fine. The hamburger ate the boy. But we cannot accept it as a sentence because there's syntactic or there are no semantic, rules maintained. For example, the second one, the table listens to the radio. We know table can never listen to a radio. It is the people who can listen to the radio. So this is also meaningfully wrong sentence for which we cannot accept it. So you can read the other sentences you can identify what are the problems with these sentences. Let us go to the next one. Then we will have to understand what's going on here. Okay, let's get going to the next slide. Semantic features. The semantic features are categories that allow us to classify the meaning of a word. They are actually usually represented with a head word and using the symbols plus and minus to say if the word contains that feature. Actually, semantic features means every word has its own particular features with which we can identify and relate to that word to our regular natural conversation. There is no list of semantic features. We need the context to create one. So let's have some examples. Okay, semantic features. This is a chart of semantic features which you will have to use in your examination. Look at that. There are some examples at the top. Table, horse, boy, man, girl, and woman. Look at that symbol, minus. Table, it's not animate, that's why it's minus. Horse is animate, that's why it's plus. Boy is animated, plus. Man is animated. Girl is animated, woman is animated. Similarly, table is not human, that is why it's minus. Horse is not human, minus. Boy is human. Man is human. Girl is human. Woman is, of course, human. Female, table is not female. So that is why minus. It's not adult also, minus. So you can say all minus for table. 2 plus for horse. 2 plus for boy. 2 plus, 3 plus for man. 3 plus for girl. But look at that at the right corner, right side, woman, all pluses. For example, it's animate, it's human, it's female, and it's adult, all categories. It has fulfilled all the categories, all the semantic features. So it's very important chart for you to understand. You can put any word at the bottom or at the top, and you can get the semantic ideas with these plus and minus signs. Okay, is one more semantic features chart. You can see bees features. Bees is an insect. They are all actually insects. 6 legs fine, 3 body parts fine, all characteristics, but it cannot bite, so there is minus. It can sting, so it's plus. And similarly, plus plus, minus has wings, that is it has no wings. Bites, it's confusing, that is it can bite or it can never bite. Stings, it cannot sting. Mosquitoes, almost all of them are passed, only one stings, it doesn't sting, it has no stings, it can only bite. So look at that. Wasps, one kind of very powerful and very fatal, insect which can bite human beings. It has got all the characteristics: 6 legs, 3 body parts, has wings, lays eggs. It has lays eggs. It can lay eggs, but it doesn't bite. That is why minus, and it can also sting. So you can see there's a very interesting feature. With this feature, you can easily differentiate these insects from one to another. And this has been very important for you. Okay, dear students, let us moving on forward. Okay, semantic roles. The semantic roles are properties that the noun phrases have according to their meaning inside the sentences. And there are some semantic roles. Number 1, agent, theme, instrument, experiencer, location, source, and goal. These are actually all semantic roles with which we can identify sentences in accordance with the semantic roles. Remember, it's not rules, roles. That is, it has its own execution. Roles means actually execution. So these are the semantic roles, because a sentence will have to fulfill all these roles. If it doesn't fulfill the roles, we cannot call it a sentence. Okay, so look at the example, agent and theme. The boy kicked a ball. In the sentence, the person who executes the action is called agent. The agent in that sentence is the boy, because he is kicking the ball. Similarly, the theme is the object or person that is directly affected or described by the action. In case it's a ball. For example, the boy kicked the ball. For example, what is the ball doing with what? Answer is ball. So it's the theme, ball, and the boy is the agent. So agent and themes are very closely linked. Agent is actually the noun or subject, ball is the predicate, and also it's the object of the sentence. Next one, instrument and experiencer. If an agent uses another entity in order to perform an action, that other entity fills the role of instrument. Later you can see the example, then it can be very much understandable to you. Look at the example. The boy cut the rope with an old razor. So the boy is the agent, action is the cut, theme is the rope because it's an object. With an old razor, there's the instrument, because the boy has to cut the rope with something. It can be a knife, it can be some other sharp instrument, whatever it be, it's the instrument. So it's very clear from here. Next, right slide. Experiencer, the living entity that experiences the action or event denoted by the predicate. For example, Sana smelled the rose. So as in this sentence, Sana is experiencer because he is directly involved in the action. Because it was Sana who smelled the rose, so you can say that the person who is directly involved in the action is the experiencer. So in this sentence, Sana is the experiencer because he has or she has smelled the rose. Next sentence, next slide. Location, source, and goal. These are the other roles of semantics. Look at the examples. The keys are next to the vase. Vase means actually where the flowers are kept. She brought some souvenirs from France. Macro travels to Merida tomorrow. Marco travels to Merida tomorrow. In the first sentence, to the text in pink marks the semantic role of location. For example, the keys are next to the vase, so it's the location. The keys have been put to the next of the vase, that is why it's called location. In the second, the semantic role of source, because she brought some souvenirs from France. So from France is the source, and Marco travels to Merida tomorrow. And this is the goal, Merida, because where does Marco travels? Marco travels to Merida, or it can be the source, because source and goals are almost same, because where the person actually ultimately finishes his action is the name of a place or an important area where the agent can finish his work is called the source or goal. Dear students, let us go to the next slide. Okay, semantic roles or thematic roles. Actually, we can call either semantic or thematic, both of them are same. Roles of noun phrases in a sentence. NP means noun phrase. The boy kicked the ball. The boy is the doer versus the ball, predicate, entity affected by the action. And the boy is the agent also. And the ball is the theme or patient. Thematic roles, agent and patient. So in this sentence, the thematic roles are agent and patient, because in this sentence, there are two thematic roles only, agent and patient or theme. So the boy kicked the ball, the boy is the doer or agent, and ball is the theme or patient. Next slide. Okay, semantic roles or thematic roles. The boy hurt himself. Agent is the boy and theme is himself. Johnny cut the rope. Johnny is the agent, theme is the rope, or a patient is the rope. With the knife is the instrument. I have already shown you before. Okay, next slide. The boy feels sad. Here's the boy is the experiencer, one who sees, knows, or enjoys something, or one who is particularly involved in the action. So the boy feels sad. Who is feeling sad? The boy. So the boy is the experiencer. Mary saw a fly on the wall. Mary is the experiencer because she saw the fly on the wall. Theme is the fly, a fly, and location is of course on the wall. Location is the place where the action is being done or the action is being committed or performed. Okay, next slide. Semantic roles to thematic roles. Next slide. Mary borrowed a book from George. Agent is Mary, book is theme, and George is the source because he has collected or borrowed the book from George. And it's the starting point of movement. Starting point of movement. That is, from this agent, Mary has borrowed the book. And the last one, she turned the book to George. So the goal is here. There is the end point or movement because she returned the book to George. Mary borrowed the book from George. That is, he has collected the book from George, but again, he has decided to give the book back to George. So his ultimate goal or her ultimate purpose is to give the book back to George. So that is the goal. Goal means his objective. She has returned the book to goal. So it's the ending point of his or her movement. Okay. So dear students, this is the end of the discussion for semantic roles and semantics. Hope you have enjoyed it. And I strongly suggest you to take a strong look upon these slides, not only to, turning around the slides one by one for seeing the picture, but you have to actually carefully listen to the lecture because I have tried to give you the details in a nutshell. And from these ideas, I hope you will be able to answer your questions. So with this, I'm going to thank you and conclude my session. One thing I would like to request and inform you is that you have to actually listen and enjoy the slides from the beginning to the end with a headphone on your ear or with an earpod, because otherwise it will not be, the sound may not be very clear to you. So dear students, this is my advice to you that check the slides very carefully, enjoy every little bit. And if you have any queries, don't hesitate to email me, which I have given at the very first slides of my presentation. Email me. So until then, goodbye and thank you very much. See you again another day.